Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I guess I'm sort of deeply saddened that we have to even come and address issues that are so dear to the hearts of so many of us and so many of our constituents. You know, this bill passed this House, and
Gentlemen, suspend for just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, there's a lot of activity. I know it's Friday, but if you'd please give the gentleman your attention, take your conversations elsewhere. I know the gentleman would appreciate it, and the chair would appreciate it. Gentlemen, continue.
This bill passed this House, February the 22nd, 1999, and it was not a close vote. 174 of the men and women who sat in the seats that you sit in today said that this was good legislation for Georgia. I was one of the co-sponsors along with Representative Royal. He was one of the co-signers on this bill. Because we felt, as we feel now, that the property owners of this state was in dire need of relief. And they're even in more need of relief now than they were then. Mortgages are rising. Unemployment is prolific. It's rampant throughout the state and this country. But you know, it gives me a lot of concern that it seems to be a lot about, I got to admit, now you all do good November legislation. Now this is a good piece of November politics. It is. It is. I just wonder who was in your caucus who came up with this, because this is a stroke of genius. It is. It gives everybody in here an opportunity to vote on the Property Owners Tax Relief Grant Program, and everybody can go home and say, I'm for you. It was that old governor, and he won't be on the ballot in 10, but you will, and I will. So it's great politics. I swear to God it is. But you know, it's poor policy. Because my 94-year-old Aunt Hannah, who my Uncle Nimrod left her a house and 5 acres of land in Putney, Georgia, my Aunt Sally and my Aunt Hannah is going to have to find a way to pay this extra $300. They 94 years old. They probably don't have any children in the public school system. They probably don't. But they're going to have to pay school taxes. Think about it, 94 years old. Probably not going to have any more children unless they are Abraham and what was that other lady's name? That's it for Sarah. That's it for them. That's it. But we want to come before the people of the state of Georgia and tell them that if by chance and subject to us having enough money in the budget, we might fund the Property Owners Tax Relief Grant Program. You know, this bill, when it was passed in 1999, the state budget was $12 billion. $12 billion. When we reached our hands into the pockets of the property owners and homeowners and taxpayers in the state of Georgia and took out $12 million of their dollars in '99, we still found money to give them back $428 million of their own money. Aunt Sally was so happy. She said, boy, you doing something up there. She did. Now I got to go back and tell her that we might do it. Aunt Hannah, you're 94 years old. Groceries up. I can't do nothing about that. You can't either. Gas went down, praise the Lord. But we can do something about her property taxes, and we did do something about it. We did. Now, Mr. Speaker, when we got ready to give Delta Airlines $30 million, we didn't say, if the budget will allow it. We didn't do it. We just reached our hands in the coffers and said, woo, there it is. When we got ready to give Mr. Leader, when we got ready to give Gulfstream $11 million, we didn't say, you know, if you created a lot of jobs, we gonna give it to you. And listen, I voted for this. You voted for this. We all voted for it. When we got ready to give, who was this? The manufacturing industry last year, they came to the table. They got some real smooth lobbyists. I mean, they do. Everybody up here who has a lobbyist under this dome got money. They got it. Walking around with their Italian suits, alligator loafers and eel skiing briefcases, they got the money. They wrote big checks. They did. I saw your disclosures. we ain't mad at you. That's just the way it happens. But somebody has to look out for the people of the state of Georgia. Somebody has to look out for the homeowners, the people who pay the vast majority of the taxes in this state, the ones who's carrying the load. And you come in, and we're going to come in and tell them that maybe just possibly, if the economy does a 3% cost of living adjustment and inflation is right and the stars line up and the creek don't rise down in Mitchell County, we will give you the we will give you the tax relief that you need. Now you know that is not right. Now I don't have any alligator loafers. I don't. And I don't have an eel skin briefcase. But I put on the best suit that I had to come down here and to ask my colleagues on behalf of my Aunt Sally and my Aunt Hannah to fund the Property Owners Tax Relief Grant Program. Not to make it subject to this year's appropriations or to make it subject to prior year's appropriations. We could do this for the property owners in the state of Georgia when the state budget was $12 billion. And now that we're spending nearly $20 billion a year, we're telling them that no, not you. Nobody asked Delta for their money back. I was glad to give it to them because they wasn't doing good. I was. I mean, they were under stress. Well, that's where the homeowners are. They're under stress. And if you're talking about you want to take theirs, and let's look at everybody's. Everybody in here, we need to question, need to be brought to the carpet and say whether or not all of this money that we have given everybody else, that all of us have voted for it. Now, I voted for it too. I'm a member of this body. But it comes a time now for us to reassess everyone and not just the people who pays the most of the bills in this state. I ask you all to help me to help Georgians. Thank you.
Gentleman has a few questions if he'd like to take them. Representative Mills.
Mr. Speaker, I'm through.